Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Rhyme of the Times for the week ending 1st of July 2023. Braverman's ship is starting to keel, but she will appeal. A nurse's deal is sealed, but many feel it's not an ideal deal. Sunak reveals how the NHS will be healed. Thames Water to get real on leaks being sealed. Cricket's problems no longer concealed. Last week there was lots of international drama. This week's news was more domestic and calmer. The COVID inquiry progressed with Tuesday's star turn, Matt Hancock apologising with heartfelt concern. His heartfelt there should have been a doctrine in the House, other than the flawed one that the government espoused, that focused too much on handling the deceased and not enough on stopping the spread of the disease. On Friday, Sunak, with his calm bedside manner, set out his NHS plan as if it was Tory sent manna, focusing on reform, staff training and retention, resuscitating the NHS being the intention. For some, though, the rhetoric elicited more groans, and the plans probably need more meat on the bones, like some detail on pay which was completely ignored, thus making the plan, for many, fatally flawed. And as if to emphasise what those many say, strikes by radiographers were announced the same day. Junior doctors also remained defiant, although nurses this week were more compliant. A pay deal was agreed after national voting. However, it is probably also worth noting 84% actually voted no to the deal, which demonstrates how a lot of nurses still feel. But 57% did not vote at all, so the naysayers couldn't win overall. So this result actually possibly meant apathy sealed the deal more than real consent. So nurses won't strike, but many will snarl, and the past 8 months have done nothing for morale. The government may see this as a battle won, but the war is probably far from done. The government awaited a decision on Thursday on whether their Rwanda plan was okay. But Suella and her crew were left all at sea with the likely sinking of her flagship policy. The flagship seems sunk, but can it one day still float after Thursday's 2-1 appeal court vote? Braverman's a lawyer, and one thought she might have made sure her flagship was more watertight. So the government will have one final fight fought to overturn this decision in the Supreme Court. Cricket in Britain this week was hit for 6, with a long list of things that need to be fixed. The Independent Commission for Equity in Cricket reported that the game is on a bad wicket. The 317 pages may cause some pain, but if it opens more minds, everyone gains. A more inclusive sport for our sons and daughters will swell the ranks of cricket supporters. After last week's precocious Prigozhin-near coup, we feared but sort of knew what Putin would do. To help him forget that he's losing his grip, he went off on an orgasmic power trip. Normal humans find it grotesque and outrageous, but for Putin it makes him feel strangely courageous to unleash his ballistic missile force on a packed pizza restaurant in Kramatorsk. His orgasmic pleasure must have overspilled at the thought of the 12 innocent souls he'd killed. Perhaps the Kremlin coward hasn't lost his grip after all, albeit a grip on something microscopically small. The pension riots that happened in the spring were like a French Revolution, an uprising. On Tuesday morning, the peace was again disturbed in Nanterre, a western Paris suburb. Police shot dead a young lad of Algerian descent, and France is spiralling once more into violent dissent. Just when we thought Partygate may be dead, there appeared one more dangling thread. The Privileges Committee, whose excoriating report brought the Boris bandwagon to a juddering halt, told the handful of loyalists still riding along that they had also behaved incredibly wrong. By questioning the committee's legitimacy, they had threatened our entire democracy. So 8 of the miscreants were told to say sorry, most notably Patel, Rees-Mogg and Dorries. Zach Goldsmith decided to resign instead. He'd refused to apologise, Sunak said. Zach, though, insisted that he had resigned because the PM's greener commitment had declined. The climate no longer on Rishi's mind, so crucial policies were being sidelined. Thames Water this week was in hot water, criticism flowing from every quarter. Providing safe water is its raison d'être, but for 20-odd years it's been raising its debt. But money's not the problem. It has cash liquidity, but cash is no use when spent with stupidity. There's plenty of liquidity flowing from leaks in Victorian infrastructure that rusts and creaks. 630 million litres flowing away. That's 200 Olympic pools worth every day. A quarter of the water it supplies is lost at an eye-watering level of financial cost. Richmond Council have fined them again and again, but it's the customers who feel the financial pain. It's their money that goes down the proverbial drain, and everyone is left simply praying for rain. Would throwing the baby out with the bath water be wise by renationalising our water supplies? That's an idea that even Labour decries.